What's good, y'all? It's your boy J.Brock. It's Clapitup LA. I'm right here with my boy Pablo the Shark Rubio. He is now a featherweight boxer with a 13-0 record, 4 by way of knockout. So you better be careful if you step up in the ring with him. So guess what? We about to get into this good game, y'all. Pablo, how you doing today, bro?
Good, man. Appreciate it.
Man, it's good to be here with you. I'm finally doing an interview with a fighter. I love it. It's so exciting for me. Now, Pablo, your introduction to boxing was for disciplinary reasons.
Yeah.
What were you doing to get on your father's nerves that much for him to want you to get beat up? What was going on, man?
Man, it's just shit at home, you know?
Yeah.
It's just doing things that parents didn't want you to do, you know? I was just playing around, mess with friends. Being like, especially school. That's what they wanted me to be focused on. And I always got in trouble. Principal was like my best friend.
Yeah, you for sure in trouble. The principal, your best friend.
Yeah, so man, I'd be getting called like almost every day, and it wasn't even fights like that. I was just messing around, you know.
Just being a kid.
Yeah. And you know, not really doing my homework, not listening to the teacher. So again, that was their main focus for me. And being at home as well, I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't do what they wanted me to do. I would talk back. And there's things where even I'm like, damn, I actually did that. Like I threw middle fingers at my parents before.
Man. Oh yeah, he was wild.
Yeah.
He was wild. He said I threw middle fingers.
Yeah.
Woo, that's different.
Yeah, I done that. I talked back to them, and man, I've gotten smacked everywhere, bro. Everywhere.
You know what? I was one of those kids who my mom said she got to report or call every day. You know, so I would never sit down. I would never stop talking. Me, I felt like I was just doing what a kid was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So did you feel like, as a kid, you know, you kind of just wanted to express that freedom? Did you always just have that extra energy? What do you feel like could have been done differently so maybe you wouldn't have been, you know, getting in trouble so much?
Yeah, I think it was just that energy, you know. Even without boxing, I was still pretty active. Not that I was playing other sports, but, you know, I'll always be on my feet.
Yeah.
I wasn't really outside. You know, we didn't have technology yet, like how we do now. So I was still able to, you know, still play around with friends and still mess around. And no, it was just that energy, man. And that's what we got to a point where my dad was just like, man, I'm gonna take your ass to the gym.
He said enough is enough.
Yeah.
You know what? So I gotta ask you now, do you ever think about those times? You know, when our parents came up, they had bricks to play with, things like that. So do you feel like technology was actually to the next generation of kids' advantage to keep them busy and, so to speak, interested in things?
Yeah, I felt, in a way, yes, but I also felt like it made them lazy as well, because you're just able to do everything on a tablet, on your phone.
Yeah, true.
So you're just sitting there all day, really, and you get sidetracked to go on something else, and you just be on some other things, you know.
Right.
You don't even know what you're looking at anymore.
Right.
You're just looking at anything that pops up.
Exactly.
And you just get lost in the internet, and but I mean, it's changing little by little, and so in a way they do have the advantage with technology now.
Yeah, for us they got a big advantage. A lot of things are a lot more simple. So now I got to ask you, as a kid, they always ask us, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm sure boxing wasn't that thing that you would ever mention.
Not at
right?
all.
So what do you think a 6-7-year-old Pablo thought that a 20-year-old Pablo would be doing? Or what do you think that you wanted to do as a kid?
During the time, I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Still just being a kid, really. And now the moment I stepped in the ring, that's the moment I knew.
It's changed.
I didn't even know that this was gonna be still something that I was gonna do growing up.
Right.
And becoming. And it was just something that I just fell in love with from the moment I stepped in the gym. And
I gotta ask you now, your first day, okay, because I'm sure you didn't have the technique right. He probably put you up against some people he expected to whoop on you a little bit. So how did that go for you? Did you come up here and get beat up, or did you actually kind of put some hands on people?
No, it was funny. So it was actually a friend's son that started boxing too.
Okay.
And went up there with him. And, you know, he grew up a little bit more in the LA side too.
Okay.
I grew up in Whittier. Not too crazy, you know. You have your little moments here and there, but nothing bad happens here really. But no, so you were expecting it to probably be a little bit more rougher.
Okay.
And I don't know, I guess it was just a dog in me that just immediately liked fighting, bro.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we both went at it, but I got to a point where I dropped him with like a body shot.
Really?
And now we kept going, but it was just...
Was everybody up in here like, oh?
It was funny because my dad's old trainer, Shark, he had his own little gym, his own little fighter, so it was just really just a group of us, and it was probably like maybe like 5, 6 of us.
That's crazy, bro. And you went out there and fell in love right that day. So after that, so when you went home that day, what was the conversation like with you and Pops? Because we know eventually he had to be influenced to go ahead and train you. We're gonna get further into that. But what was the conversation like when you went home that night?
To be honest, I probably don't even remember that night.
Yeah.
It was just, just after that day, it was just kind of like, just take me back. I feel like, if I remember correctly, he didn't even want me to fight.
Right.
Like that wasn't even in his mind at all. And no, after that day, it was just like, man, take me back, take me back. So it's like, I don't even remember we even had conversations. I think he was just even more upset that
he's just like, he likes it.
Yeah.
He likes it. R.I.P. to the original Shark,
Yeah.
Hector Rodriguez. He was the inspiration behind the business name, and he also had to influence your dad to train you. Now, why do you think your dad didn't want to train you?
I don't know. I don't think I ever asked him that, to be honest. I think it was just like, he probably just didn't want to get caught up in actually making a fighter or taking the time to start training somebody, probably. Because it takes time. It's not like you could just become a trainer, you know, just like a fighter. It's not like you could just come to the gym and start fighting. You know, it takes a little bit of work, skills to put in, and take some time. And it's probably something that he didn't want to do from the beginning. And no, but from then on, the Shark kept telling him to train me, and that you don't usually get fighters that want to fight. And he told my dad that that's somebody that really wants to fight. He's like, that's somebody that you really want. So he got to a point where he got my dad to train.
Now I got to ask you, like I said, RP to the original Shark. Man, how was that moment for you guys? You know, when when you guys lost him, and how did you guys process that?
It sucked, man. It really did, because he's the one that first started me off, and you know, my dad would tell me that he was like a father figure to him, because his dad, my grandpa, wasn't around for him as much, and so he was always right around with him, took him everywhere with him, so it was like a father figure to him, and so when it got to that moment, it was heartbreaking, and but I mean, it was funny at the same time, because he had such a huge family, and we all talked about it. Like, if you knew Shark, you knew he was probably up there throwing the middle finger.
Okay, so he's one of them outgoing dudes, you know.
He was just smack talking, man. But he was a real cool guy to me from the time I had with him, and no, he meant a lot to us. So got to a point where we were able to make a business. What do we call it?
Right.
Let's call it Shark Sports.
Let's call it the Shark Sports. And so you would even wear the Shark on your shorts, and it was something that basically came natural and just stuck to people. The name. So when you think of the name the Shark, what are some of the things that you feel that it represents? What are some of the things you out there doing in the name of the Shark when you out there fighting?
Really, I tell everybody, you know, from when we started putting it on our shorts, it was really just Team Shark, because we were part of his team. And from then on, we just, even after his passing, we kept putting it on our shorts, and it just kind of became my nickname. Everybody just started calling me that, so it's like, you know, gonna represent it then. And it only reminds me of him. So even from this day on, everything that we've done, and it all started with him. So it means a lot hearing the name, because it's not really like you're training for me.
Right.
You know, it's also like him in there.
Right. It's the whole situation. It's the DNA of it. It's the beginning of it.
And just the fighter we became. You know, we love to be aggressive. He loved people going out there and actually fighting. You know, and.
So what type of trainer was he? Was he the guy that would yell at you while you fight? Because like my guy Donnie Bills at Metal Ray, he counting all kind of numbers in different languages to his fighters, 1, 5, 6 in the middle of a fight. Yeah. So was he the type of guy that do that type of thing, or was he more so the quiet, sit back, you know?
No, yeah. During the fights, he would kind of sit back, and everything he told you was in the corner when you get those 30 seconds to a minute of rest. And no, he wasn't much of the yelling, but when he got to training, he was on your ass. He was on your ass for sure.
How thankful are you to have somebody on your ass, so to speak, when you train, and not being just like, good job, dude, you did good, and you know you could be doing better. How thankful are you to have someone in your ear like that?
Oh no, it's a blessing, and because it's a game changer for us. For someone to be laid back on you, you won't be as great as you can be.
Facts. And
with someone on you, it's they know everything that they could get out of you, and that's what Shark had, and my dad, and they could push everything out of me, and but I mean, also like yourself, you have to want it, you know, because anybody could do anything really.
True.
But
true.
if you don't want it, you're not going to show that full potential that you really have.
Right.
And so I know I have that in this sport, because in my mind, I know I can push myself. But just that extra push, you have that person right behind you yelling in your ear.
True.
Knowing that you can do more.
Right. Now, I got to ask you, I'm talking about a Pablo that has been training for 2 hours. I mean, you drenched in sweat, you tired, but guess what? You got 2 more rounds of training to do.
Yeah.
What is Pablo thinking about, and what's the factor that keeps you going as hard as you possibly can? Because like you said, you got to want it. And a lot of people don't really understand that as a boxer, this world is different. This world of training is different. So what is that that's keeping you going in the middle of that? I could just walk off the ring and go home right now. I don't want no more. What's keeping you going?
Man, I guess it's that natural dog in me. And it's always, even in training, I'm always thinking me doing something like you said, after being drenched in sweat, tired.
You're going to call it skull drug. He been skull drugged all day.
I'm always thinking my opponent's doing more.
Okay,
my opponent's doing more.
Yeah.
I got to push it.
Yeah.
I got to push it. I'm gonna push it even harder.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking my opponents are doing more. And that's what pushes me, because it's like he wants to knock me out.
Right.
I ain't gonna let that happen.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
That's the way you gotta think, man. You ought to always understand your opponent is working just as hard or maybe harder than you. So if you don't push yourself to your limit, like he said, ain't nobody else gonna do that, y'all. Push yourself to the limit. Now, at 14 years old, you and your dad started the business, the official business, and you guys would actually bring the rings up, tear the rings down.
Yeah.
And your dad is a big time figure with this, because he manages boxers, rents the rings out, things like that. Now, what is it like having to fight and then having to be the guy who's going to take this is a big old ring, you know, y'all probably don't see it, but it's a nice size ring. So what is it like knowing, okay, I got to do this, take this ring down? Do you enjoy that? Do you not like it? How do you go through that process?
No, it's cool, man. Once in the beginning, it's a little tough, especially with the frame, you know, straight metal.
This is a big old thing. Yeah.
Straight metal, but you have the help of all the other guys. It's like about usually between 4 to 6 of us.
Okay.
And once you get it, you know, everything goes. We're all synced in it. We all know what to do. I mean, after a fight, that's different, you know.
Yeah, I know. Cause you just probably put the mitts on him. All you feeling good? You just won. Now you got to get back to the slave work. You know. So I mean, have you found some appreciation in having to put in this kind of work? Because you know everybody don't have to do it, and for whatever reason, this is a part of your purpose in life.
Yeah.
What type of appreciation have you found in the whole process of being around and being so heavy in the business to do things like this?
Oh yeah, you have to appreciate everything. All the small things, all the little things. Yeah, because you don't get a lot of this. Just my dad being in this business, I appreciate that he's there, that he's done it with me. I appreciate that everything it's helped us with, it's opened doors for us, doors that we probably wouldn't have been able to open without this business.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, the just this business helped a lot, and you know, it's brought us, like I said, it opened a lot of doors for us, not just to Go to Boy, and shout out to Go to Boy, because
Go to Boy, yeah.
First 10 fights I was with them, and
we definitely getting into that. Oh, I know we getting into that for
yeah.
sure. He like, yeah, make sure you mention it. I got you, bro. I got you.
No, but it opened doors to a lot of other promoters, and it gave me options to be able to fight in other places. And no, it's helped a lot. You have to appreciate all the little things that even it takes a lot of hard work, but in the end, you get the better result.
Yeah, you get the picture a little bit later on. So, as an amateur, you fought about 90 times, 15 losses, and you actually took your first loss as an amateur. Yeah. And you still love the sport the same way. Now, when you lose your first fight as an amateur, what went through your mind about everything? Was it just like, okay, cool, we getting back to work? Were you a little discouraged? What happened after that first loss?
No discouragement at all. I was the first fight, of course, nervous in front of a lot of people, and no, but in the end, I was excited. Did my first fight. Even if I got the loss, it was kind of like, all right,
you in here now.
Yeah. So, you know, just kind of like, let's go back in there, let's train. And no, I was excited. You know, I'm like, damn, I'm starting to fight amateur. So by the time I got to my second fight, it was funny because first fight, we actually didn't get trophies because there were so many fights or fighters that showed up that there was more fights that they put than what they had. So they only had about 20 trophies to give out.
Oh, man.
We're like, I think in the end they had like 30 fights.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, they had like 10 fights, no trophies. If you wanted to fight, you know, there was a fight. Yeah. So we were like the 25th bout, I think. Yeah. And no, we fought, we did our thing, no trophy. But by the second fight, I remember, you know, we went back, we trained hard, tried to fix the things we needed to fix. And I saw that trophy.
He said, I want that trophy.
I
need that trophy.
Big ass trophy.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite trophies.
Yeah. So you won the trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I ended up winning it.
Wow, that's dope. And so that's one of your favorite trophies to this day.
Yeah.
How many trophies have you won throughout your boxing career?
Ooh, I think my first fight, maybe another one, also didn't get a trophy. But we got a good amount, like almost all my fights were trophies. And I probably got maybe 10 belts.
Ooh, he said he got 10 belts.
Yeah.
That he in the double digits, y'all. He ain't no single digit right here. He double digit belts right there. So y'all better know something about that, man. Y'all make sure y'all do your homework on Pablo the Shark Rubio. I'm telling you, this guy right here is a legend, and I'm sitting next to a future featherweight champion. I believe it. You know what I'm saying? Now, you begin to lose the love for the sport throughout your amateur career, if that's okay for me to say. You begin to lose the love for the sport because of the way the point system worked and things like that. Now, explain to me when you realized that I'm starting to lose interest, and explain to me that very first thing you was like, you know what, that's why I don't like this no more.
Yeah, you know, as you get older, you start moving different too as you get older. You get into the teenage age, move a little bit different. Maybe it's something you actually don't want to do. Start getting a little bit lazier too. Right.
You was getting lazy on this, Pablo?
Nah. Okay. No, you just see it as you get older. But it was never nothing like that with me. It's just as like people move different, and the way I moved was, you know, it's something that you've done every day. Like, it's just something very repetitive. You go to the gym, go to school, go to the gym, go to school, that's how you wake up and do everything, same thing. So it got to a point where it was just kind of like, all right, we're doing the same thing over and over and over and over. I'm at 16 already. And it got to a point where we're getting to that point where we're getting close to the Olympics. And by the time I got to my teens, it was like something that I really wanted to do. The Olympics was something that I really wanted to enter. And I was told that I had more of a pro style, and I've heard it before, but it was something that I didn't really see. And when I got to a point where it was like, all right, we're gonna do the tryouts for the Olympics. First fight, I completely didn't like it.
This is the very first one.
Yeah, first fight I lost. It was in Reno. And I didn't like it. After that, it was just like, man, I was like, I'd rather go pro. I'd really rather go pro, because I'd rather do damage there than sit my ass here and keep trying to go to Olympics when it's every 4 years.
And I mean, people put a lot of time in for the Olympics.
So, you know, so it was a whole change of style, and it's not that easy when you're accustomed to a style that you've been doing, you know, for so many years. So changing the style was a little difficult, but it just wasn't for me. So me and my dad had a deep talk, and we were just like, man, let's just go pro. I told him I just want to go pro already. And
was your dad very supportive of that, or was it kind of like, well, think about this, think about that type of thing? How was that?
He was pretty supportive about it. He thought it was probably the better idea than staying in the amateurs. And because, like I said, the whole thing was different. They just hit you once, twice, and just run around the whole time. You know, just trying to win that round. It's like, man, I'm trying to fight. I'm here bringing
like,
excitement.
man, I'm really trying to get down, man. What you doing, man? You know, come on, B, come get these hands, man. You know.
That's what I'm trying to get. And I got to a point where, you know, my dad and I just talked about it, and we're like, all right, let's just try spar as many pros as we can. Try adjust to it, to the pro style better. It's like, all right. Then we got in touch with Leo, and with Leo, it was just like, started sparring with them. They let us spar with them, and they kept us. They liked us. They kept calling us. Got to a point where they were paying us weekly to keep sparring with him while he was getting ready for his fights.
And that was dope, because Leo, shout out to Leo Santa Cruz. He he became a featherweight champion. That's some great experience for you to get early on. So how was, you know, boxing with that guy and getting to actually learn his style and the way they ran things?
Yeah, no, it's crazy, because you have to be a lot smarter in there as a pro. You know, gloves are smaller, no headgear. So it was different.
No headgear? So y'all just eating there all the licks?
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, once you go pro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nah, not in the sparring. No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, dang, in the sparring, y'all just taking everything. Sheesh.
Nah, so it's kind of like, you know, everything's different. If they're able to hit me like this in sparring, you know, it's completely different in the pro fight.
Okay.
And so it was a lot to learn from, and like how everybody was telling me, it's like we have similar styles. So a lot of what he did to me was everything. I was like a sponge after that. You know, I just kept sucking everything in that he kept using against me, and used it against him. And no, it was a blessing sparring with him. I mean, I was pretty nervous the first day. We were doing we told him we'd do 6 rounds of them, and we were going after it, and now we went at it. We did good 6 rounds of sparring, and then from then on, they kept calling us. We kept coming back for like 2 years.
2 years.
For like 2 years, yeah.
Jeez. And so during that 2 years, you weren't actually boxing, actually having any matches at that point, right?
Yeah, no, I wasn't even having amateur fights. It was literally just going to the gym, and when Leo had a fight, they hit me up, got back to the gym. And we got to a point where we would spar up to like 10 rounds. And
10 rounds.
Yeah.
Get it in.
And it was to a point where I was almost only the
only guy he was sparring.
Yeah. But it was cool, man. 'Cause it was like, it was like I was getting my condition up. I felt good, and it got to a point once I hit 18 and a half, it was like, all right, I'm gonna go pro.
Ready to go.
And I was already ready.
Yeah.
I was ready. So
how was Leo Santa Cruz actually doing when you were sparring with him? Because he hadn't won a championship yet, had he?
Yeah, I believe he was already. I think he was a 2-time champion already by then.
Oh man, that's dope. So you really got it in.
Yeah.
You got it in with.
Yeah, he was a champion for sure already.
Okay, so I got to ask you now. Okay, because I play football. So as we know in football, the game gets faster and faster and faster. The guys hit harder and harder and harder. So was that one of the things that you noticed when you came from amateur fighting to actually fighting up against a guy who was at that level? Was it a lot faster, a lot harder? Like how was it? What was the difference that you noticed when when sparring with him?
Of course, I think in the pros you definitely go against guys that hit much harder. Sparring with him, it was, like I said, you gotta be more intelligent in there. Okay. And that was the thing, was they were able to get shots where I didn't think they could get in. You know,
like how do you get that?
Yeah. So it was shots that I had to learn from.
Yeah.
Where I was getting hit with, and it was just kind of like, man, you gotta find any way to get that shot in.
Yeah.
And that's how these guys are champions, man.
Yeah.
Like they train hard, they get in there, and they're real smart. They're real smart in there. And like I said, they'll find any way, either from the head or the body. And so it was completely different. Kind of in the amateurs, you just try to score a point or two and just get the hell away after that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in the pro style, it was a lot different. A lot of heavy hitters in there. Right.
He just hit whatever he can touch. Yeah. Whatever's gonna make a point, he gonna hit that. And make sure. Now, I gotta ask you, when you go in to train, what's your process? Because see, a lot of people don't really know what boxers have to do. They kind of just think they put gloves on, step in the ring, and fight. What do you have to do from the moment you step into the gym, and what's the last thing that you do before you leave?
Ooh, warm up, for sure. Warm up. And I changed once I became a pro. Well, not even when I became a pro. Of course, once I became a pro, I stepped everything up. A couple of rounds of everything, moved it up, but probably the return back in 2019, before, I had that anger, everything that was held back from not being able to fight. I picked everything up. So like warm up wise, I'd be doing at least 8 to 10 rounds of jump rope.
8 to 10, how long? What's the timing in that?
That's between, I think it's around 35 minutes.
35 minutes?
Yeah.
10 times?
Just jump rope.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, 35 minutes in total.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm tripping. I'm like, damn, so you be jumping for 5 hours? Okay. So 35 minutes of that. Now, see, you got, Muhammad Ali, we've seen some. Do you try to imagine yourself looking like that? Try to be as sweet and as making sure that you look as tip top like that?
I mean, looks, I really don't care about looks,
to be
honest.
That's
good, because you can have all the muscles and shit, but I mean, if you can't fight, you can't fight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so looks, I never, I was never a person that kind of looked at myself in the mirror, because if I don't feel good, what's the point on looking good, I'd rather feel strong and ready.
I understand that. What's something that you would say may intimidate you? Not necessarily meaning that you're scared, but it's kind of like, man, I see that. What's something that you may, feel some type of way about when you step in the ring up against an opponent?
I don't think I feel intimidated at all, to be honest. Because it's either him or me.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's more likely going to be them, huh?
Yeah, so it's like, man, I'm going to do whatever I got to do, get you out of there. So I don't think I feel intimidated at all.
And are there any boxers that you would say was a real influence to you coming up, or some guys that you would say you would call your idol?
I never really had one, to be honest. Never really had one. I see fighters that I really like, and but one that kept me motivated, or kind of made me, not even made me, but to keep pushing myself, was this boxer named Panchito Bajado.
Okay, shout out him. I can't even say his name. But shout out to him.
No, he was a great boxer, man, and he even had a younger brother that fought too.
Okay,
but Panchito Bajado, he was there at the original gym I was at, and he saw me spar. So I was still like 8 years old during the time, 8 or 10 years old, around there. And I was sparring this big kid. This kid like just like
bullying you a little bit.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I still didn't know much.
Yeah.
So we were fighting there, and he would hit me. He had way more experience, so he hit me with shots, and then just boom, just pushed me.
He pushed
boom,
you.
Boom,
oh man,
push,
yeah.
Boom, push. I was like, damn. And he was a big kid, so it was like we were trying to work.
Yeah.
Nah, he was just bullying me. I was like, damn.
Like, man, back up off me, man. Pick up on somebody your own size.
For real. And I was a small kid.
Yeah.
And he got to a point where he pushed me. Man, I fell back. Yeah. I fell back. I fell to the canvas. And man, I just felt my dad just grab me by my chest and my leg, just yanks me out. My dad was pretty pissed because we were supposed to work, and this big kid just punking me around and shit. Yeah. And Pachito Bojado saw that, pulled me to the side, and just like, he was just like, man, no matter what happens, like, you just keep pushing, you keep fighting. Yeah. And as a kid, I took it in a lot, And from then on, like, I just kept going. Damn. So he was a little inspiration,
so
to keep fighting.
Did you ever get to get that dude back, or he got away with that?
No, he was a big ass kid. Man. He was way big. We never really sparred I mean, we did spar guys that were bigger, but he was like way more experienced, way bigger. He was like a more chubby kid, so he was a lot bigger. Yeah. I was like a little twig and shit. You know what I'm saying? And no, but that was also my mentality. Okay. That was also the reason why I work hard too, because if I got beat up, my mentality was like, I want to get it back.
Right. And
I want to retaliate.
Right. And so many people don't like to get beat up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, for example, Nate Robinson, he lost his fight, and there was so many people. Nate Robinson. You sleep. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if y'all only knew, y'all probably wouldn't talk about that man like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So people kind of don't realize that this sport right here, you gonna get beat up, you gonna take L's, you ain't gonna feel like things are going your way, but guess what? It's a part of fighting. Yeah. And that's life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Robert Diaz, we gotta shout out Robert Diaz. Yeah. He's a matchmaker with Golden Boy Promotions. He helped you get into some undercards with Golden Boy. And owned by Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? The Great. Shout out the Great, the GOAT. Now, this was at the Belasco Theater, and this was, with LA Fight Club. Yeah. Now, during those days, when you finally when you guys finally met up with Robert Diaz, how did that come about, and how did you guys establish that relationship?
Again, it goes back to the boxing ring, doing their whole ring rentals, and it was funny because it was my dad that was able to get with Robert in a fight that my dad was actually just watching. It wasn't even working, and the ring breaks down.
Oh wow! In the middle of the fight, the fighters fell too.
Yeah, I think one of the poles ended up collapsing or something like that. But it was pretty bad, and it got to a point where my dad ended up jumping in there, helped out, and my pops kind of basically fixed it. And it got to a point where he started talking to Robert Diaz, and do we have the ring by then? I think we had the ring rentals by then, and from then on, that's how my dad ended up getting hired to start doing the rings for Golden Boy, and that opened that door with Robert Diaz, and that's how we were able to finally step in the pros and get in the fights with Golden Boy. Right. For not being signed, 10 fights.
That's big time.
Yeah.
That's big time. And you know what, like they say, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Pops was just sitting up in the crowd that day. He wasn't expecting that to happen.
He wasn't working.
He was a straight up asset for that whole situation, and then opened up a totally new door for y'all. Yep. Ain't that crazy, y'all? Focus on being an asset in this life. Now, did your dad come home and tell you, man, I just met a guy today. I was just there. How did you figure out that situation?
Yeah, he ended up telling me when he got home.
Was he excited? Oh man!
Oh yeah, because it's kind of damn, we got Golden Boy with us now. Yeah. So it was something crazy. So that was a big major step for us. And from then on, it was during the time Golden Boy was doing 1 or 2 fights every month. So it was kind of we stayed busy with the ring. And so it was was cool doing it.
That's awesome, bro. Now, did you ever get to actually meet Oscar De La Hoya, some of these guys?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was that experience?
Oh, it was cool, man. It was cool. That was the first time I actually like personally got to meet him. And there's times where we had to head to his office as well.
Okay.
And grab some things for the ring and stuff, or we would walk around, say hi to Robert right there in his office as well. But it was, it was at that time where it's like, we're able to personally actually walk up to Oscar De La Hoya and actually meet him, and quick little talk before he had to go. But that was cool.
What's one of the most memorable things that he told you?
Oscar De La Hoya?
Yeah.
Ooh, I actually never had a lot of conversations with him. Like I said, it was just kind of short, quick, just a quick hello. But you can see that he's appreciative of everything that we do in the sport and in the ring rentals. Okay,
well that's beautiful then. Now I got to ask you, Meta World Peace. Meta World Peace is also one of the guys who you guys end up meeting, and he works with you. Now, how was it like being able to meet him? And I know he had an interest in the boxing world.
Yeah.
So how was it being able to meet him, and what is it like being able to work with Meta World Peace?
It was
Ron Artest, for y'all who may not know. He played for the Lakers, played for the Pacers,
Watch the Malice in the Palace.
Yeah, Malice in the Palace. Yeah, for sure. I just watched that too. I just watched that. Yeah.
And no, yeah, it was, I think, my second, third fight, and one of the guys we were working with named Randy. He saw him right there, front row, and they just had him as a special guest that day, and he was able to get in contact with him, and got his number and started talking. And got to a point where he was, co-managing me, and from then on he was working with us, and it was cool, man. We got a lot of attention from it, and but all in all, Meta's a real genuine guy, real cool, real humble, and working with him is cool. It's awesome, man.
That's dope. That's dope. You got, you come across all of these people throughout your journeys. A lot of people kind of think you're supposed to know everybody when you first begin. It's like, no, you meet people as you go. Yeah. How many people have you been, would you say, like surprised to come across throughout this entire journey? And some people like, man, I actually know who you are. What is that like?
Oh man, that's crazy. It's mainly a lot of fighters. Mainly a lot of fighters. Like again, the ring is what brought us to be able to kind of go into places that not everybody gets, like mainly like backstage. Places that not a lot of people get to go to. And but it mainly brought us a lot of fighters. Some artists that end up showing up there too, and like Meta was one of them, and luckily Randy was able to get in contact with him and started working with him. Yeah,
and that stuck. Now, we know you sparred with featherweight champion Leo Santa Cruz, but you also sparred with Carl Frampton, who would later on fight against Leo Santa Cruz. Yeah. And because of the similar styles, it actually worked out to his benefit in order to win. And they fought about 3 times, so them dudes went back and forth. Now, when you get the call to be able to spar with Carl Frampton, how did that make you feel, and especially knowing that this could be beneficial and knowing that you participated in him winning?
Yeah.
So how was that for you?
Oh, it was crazy. It was especially the winning part.
Especially the winning part.
It was kind of like, damn, Leo's my homie,
Yeah.
He's the one that gave me a little bit more attention, because even after his fights, he'll shout me out.
Wait, so let me ask you, because it seems like in boxing, you may come across a lot of friends, right? Your dad might be training you, and he going over to go train your opponent 2 months later. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So how do boxers, do y'all just laugh about that? Do some boxers take it personal? How do you guys continue to be friends, with all that going on?
I think there's very few that do actually take it personal.
Okay.
But in the end, we get in there and we squash it out. It's all love and respect for me in the end. But I mean, if you got other words to say, you might put it personal.
Yeah.
But
like, man, he know my style, man. How am I going?
And it was funny because when it happened, when we got the call, we asked Leo.
Okay.
Hey, they're gonna
respect.
They're gonna, because he opened the door for us by just letting us walk in his gym, spar, get him ready for his fights. So Leo, it was all love and respect with Leo. So we even told him, they're gonna pay us this amount. They're gonna fly us out over there. Is it cool with you? And the thing was, if you could just match the pay, because they did pay a little bit more than what Leo was giving me. But we said, if you could just match the pay, I want to stay.
It's business, yeah.
I want to stay. But if it's not, everybody gonna go towards the money.
Right, yeah.
And he understood. It was his dad, Leo's dad, that made the choice for us to still continue to go with Santa Cruz. I mean, with Carl Frampton. And so I was like, all right. So they knew we were the ones working with them. But I mean, going out there, it was crazy because I think I was more excited that I was going somewhere out of state because I haven't really been out of state yet.
You get to travel doing what you love to do.
First time flying. So I was kind of shooting bricks too.
Wait, did you get on the plane and say your prayer? It's cool, but did you get on the plane and say your prayer, man?
Hell yeah, bro. 6-hour flight.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Oh man, they got the turbulence you gotta go through.
Yeah.
You gotta go through. So did you go by yourself?
No, I actually went with my pops. My pops went with me too, but they didn't sit us right next to each other.
Oh yeah, that's even worse. That was your comfort zone right there.
Yeah. So at times when I was just kind of like, damn, what's going on? I'd be looking back at my dad, I barely see him at an angle and shit.
Oh, that's hilarious, bro. First time on a flight doing what you love to do.
Yeah, first time on a flight, first time going
to New York,
out of state, and no, that was the thing that I was more excited about. And
how long were you guys out there?
Man, we were out there for a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, wait. Did you get homesick? You wanted to come back home ever?
I think after 3 weeks, close to the last week, that's when I was kind of feeling it a little bit. Plus, it's we weren't really going out. We were probably 40-45 minutes away from Times Square. So we probably went out there twice. It was humid. That time it was bad.
Yeah.
You stand outside, you start sweating just standing there. That's how I was able to lose weight and shit.
Yeah. Well, did you find something that you enjoyed while spending your time out there?
Oh yeah, just the fact that I was doing what I loved doing, and that was training. That I was fighting. I was doing what I loved to do,
right? And
I was getting paid for it.
Yeah, that's beautiful, bro.
Yeah, free trip, food, everything paid for. I was just living it, you know.
Yeah.
And that was the crazy part. I had a lot of fun out there.
That's crazy. So when Pablo is suiting up, I'm talking about you done made it to the gym. You got the gloves on, you got the pants on, Pablo. Did you ever think about dang, look how far I came?
I don't think you realize that until you're there. And yeah, even now, just after the July 17th fight, Showtime, it's
big time.
Yeah. You're from what we started to where we're at now, to what had happened as well, during the whole COVID, to just come back and already be on a Showtime show.
Yeah.
It's man.
That's huge, bro.
Yeah,
that's huge.
That's why shout out Samson Promotions.
Shout out Samson.
And man, the moment we spoke with him, and Armando from PBC, he was the one that got us in contact with Samson. The moment we spoke to Samson was all right, you want to be on the Showtime show, opening TV? He's like, what? Man.
On TV. Yeah. National.
Sadly, this last fight wasn't as planned, but we're still able to get there, you know. But it was just he was already giving us that opportunity, and it was just hell yeah, what the hell?
Let's do it, right?
Man, and what's crazy was during the whole COVID thing, I was working at FedEx as well. Okay. And I was working there maybe 6 months, and then that's when the 6 months was happening. During the time, that's when they slowly started opening the fights again. Right. Yeah. Allowing the fights to go through. And out here in California. And during that time too, I was seeing that. And man, that's why you gotta find something that you'd love to do.
Right,
because working at FedEx, I was like,
you hate it, exactly.
This shit ain't for me. I was getting cool money every week, cool, but I was breaking my back for it.
Right. Yes, exactly, and it's not for you.
You know, so I was just like, man, and shout out to all the FedEx, Amazon.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. We need y'all and everything.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Yeah. It's a cool little check, but it's not easy, especially with them heavy ass boxes, you know. And yeah, man. After that, I was like, fuck that. So I started training. Went to one of the fights that they were doing, and that's how we met up with Samson. And it's a blessing, man.
That's when it happened. Now, at 18 years old, you go pro. Like you said, you do the 10 fights. You injure your hand. So this is all, the FedEx situation is all in between that. Okay, cool. So throughout that time, you seeing guys get signed. You seeing guys getting these big paychecks. They coming on TV. They passing you up. And you getting depressed. You know, it's making you kind of sad. What are some of the thoughts that you had throughout that moment? You know, how dark did it get for you throughout having, because this was an injury that you thought would only be a couple months. Yeah. But it ended up being 2 years because of COVID on top of that. Yeah. So what were some of the things that you went through mentally? You know what I'm saying? And how did you feel like, and how did you keep yourself together knowing that, okay, I'm just going to get back to it when I can, and we're going to jump right back into the ring?
No, yeah. See, and during that fight, it was with Golden Boy. That was the Arizona fight as well. So that was my second time out of state too. But that was that was my first time actually fighting out of state. Okay. And after that fight, it was kind of like how you said, we thought it was gonna be a couple months. Cool. But the thing was that we were already talking to Robert about finally signing.
Oh yeah.
About moving up to an 8-rounder. And everything after that fight, everything just paused. Paused, thinking it would be a couple months. And the doctor said it's just a bruised hand, just let it heal, let it rest. And man, ended up taking the 2 years just to get back. And after like year and a half, that's when well, actually, after maybe a year, that's when I started feeling it. Okay. I was just like, man, like, am I ever gonna fight again? Will my hand be good enough to keep fighting? And that's when I had those little thoughts, man. And it was just like, man, all this that I've been through, I was like, I'm not gonna let this stop me. I was like, I just can't. And I was like, man, I seen boxers with different injuries, nearly paralyzed, and come back. I was like, I can't let this little
can't let that be it.
Yeah, I was like, I can't let it be it, you know? So, stay training, and in the middle of it, I actually tried to get ready for a fight. Okay. After the first year, and tried to get ready, thought it was cool. We even made weight and everything, made it to weigh-ins, and one of the guys had visa problems. Yeah. So, couldn't make it to weigh-ins.
Just always something, huh? Yeah.
So I was like, all right, you couldn't make it weigh-ins. Golden Boy says, we'll give you another fight in 2 months. Okay. Cool. After the first month, during sparring, hit my opponent with an uppercut, felt my hand. I was like, man, it ain't gonna be right. Excuse me. It's not gonna be right. If I can feel this with the 14 ounces, I'm gonna mess it up with the 8 ounces with the first punch. So I was like, it ain't gonna be right. So I started getting a lot of recommendations to Kessler's Family and Wellness. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
After 3 months with them, that's when I was able to get back on. And my hand was cool after that. And I was able to get back on in June and July of 2019.
Were you a little more careful when you finally got approved? Or were you like, I don't want to do too much. Let me just make sure it's cool.
Nah, that's how I felt like that's how a lot of people would think too. But I was just like, man, I had that urge to been wanting to come back. Yeah. Like 2 years, I was like, man, you just don't know. Yeah. And like you said, after seeing everybody past me, even the ones that started after me, and you know, they're getting the attention that I was at first. And it's like, it feels like almost everybody forgot about you, you know? You're not fighting, you're not being active. What's the point on knowing you? I was just kind of like,
have you seen like some relationships kind of change because of that?
Not really. Not really, because sometimes when I would see people still, they still have that excitement of seeing me still.
Yeah, because they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like, at first it was kind of you getting the attention from people here and there, But now it's just like, it's like nobody knows you.
You got to start all over again.
Yeah.
You got to build the momentum up again.
Yeah. And that's how it is in boxing. You come and go. That's
just it. That's all. That's it. You come and you go. Okay, one way in, one way out. Ain't no in between.
Yep.
I understand that. Now, throughout this time, you had a team of people who were behind you to make sure that you kept your head together and to make sure that you didn't fall too far off the cliff. How thankful are you to have that circle of people around you and to make sure that you were good?
Oh man, you got to appreciate those, because those are the ones that end up sticking around. Those are the ones that really help you up, and that's mainly my families, my friends, and shout out to the guys at the Meaty Coast, Chris Munoz, because that's when I got into music with them a little bit, and man, they're the ones that kept me busy, kept me around, and no, yeah, those are the ones that you gotta appreciate the most.
Right.
And you might not see it because you want your attention on these other things, but it's kind of like these people are your main focus.
Your support system.
Yep.
They there when you up, they there when you down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? All the time. Now, producing. Now we know you got into making beats now.
Yeah.
So when you first got to make your beat, how did that feel for you to make that beat? And what did you do? How did you feel about it? Do you still feel like that was a good beat now? Because sometimes we make our first thing, we be like, that's trash now. So how do you feel about that?
That's how I feel about all of
So why do you keep going if you feel like they all weak?
No, that's the thing. You keep going.
That's right.
You keep going.
That's right.
You just learn from it. You learn from it. You keep going, and like Chris heard some of the things that I'm pretty sure he probably thought was like kind of weird or whack and shit. But no, little by little you keep going. You see the improvement.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I feel like I had music in me that I sort of didn't know.
Okay.
Because I was actually in band for like 3 years in middle school.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I played the trumpet for a couple years in middle school. I was upset because I wanted to play the drums, but whatever.
That's why I was in the percussion.
Okay, yeah. Because they basically had it to where we had to score one of the highest scores to play percussion, and I scored like a 80 or 85. Like I didn't come too far behind, but I was pissed. Like, come on, man, I've been playing drums all my life, bro. Like,
damn.
For real. And so, having Cypress Marino, shout out Cypress, in your corner, how influential was he in producing and things like that for you?
Yeah. Actually, during the time when I met Cypress, Chris brought him to the gym right there in Maywood Boxing. That's where we were at first. He brought it during the time I was trying to get ready for that fight, and my opponent didn't show up because of the visa.
Okay.
That's when I first met Cypress. Cypress is a real cool dude from the start, from the jump. And from then on, we kept tapping in with each other. Chris from Whittier, that's why I represent.
Right.
Kept in touch, and we kept the momentum going, and we staying busy, and we still here.
So when you finally get that opportunity to step back into the ring, because he's standing at 13-0 now, and you just get to release that energy again. How thankful were you to be able to do what you love to do, and for it to not be some little bull crap that happens along the way?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. It was great. It was great because it was right here in Pico, at the Pico Sports Arena. We were able to do it at. That's where we were able to come back. We were able to get FIFA out. He walked us out.
Shout out FIFA.
Yeah, shout out FIFA. The whole LA Thinos. He was able to walk me out. It was just good. Got a first round knockout.
Knockout.
Yeah.
How does that feel to knock somebody out, man? Do you be concerned about them after you knock them out, or are you kind of like just whatever?
Nah, it's just like nah, man. In the end, we're all fighters. We're all humans.
Right.
So even after a knockout, I worry myself about my opponents. In the end, you know, I was like, after the whole fight, it is what it is. It was what it was, and you know, I care for my health in there. So same thing. Yeah. Even after a knockout, I hope my opponents are cool. Even after a fight, a tough fight, we'd be going at it, blood everywhere. You know, we got bruises everywhere. In the end, I hope that we all come out clean. And but after that fight, it was a first round knockout. Like how you said, everything just built up. I was excited, and everything went right. Everything went smooth. I felt great, and man, I even told all these guys after we huddled up. In the end, we were just talking, and we're just like, man, that was dope. The performance was dope. Everything was cool. I was just like, man, I was like, that shit was too fast. I was like, I was still excited. I still had that energy. I was like, that shit was too fast. Yeah. And then that's when we were able to get the main event on July, right after that, the next month.
Right, yeah.
So it was cool. You know, first round knockout after 2 years, I was like, that was just too quick.
Man.
It was too quick.
You ready.
Yeah.
You ready. That's it. So, I mean, and also throughout that entire time, you know, with the hand injury, you just kept working though, right? You never like stopped working.
Yeah. Okay. It wasn't as hard work at first, but it was like I kept running. It gets boring at times because I couldn't hit a bag. So when you can't really hit something, like I was using one hand, but at times it kind of gets like,
just
you know,
the urge to use that one.
Use that other hand, yeah. You gotta throw them combinations, you know. Yeah. But it really helped because I'm long, gotta use a jab a lot, so it really helped get that arm to keep going. But no, we stayed working. So by the time that time came, you know, we was ready already.
Man, now shout out Fools Gone Wild. The higher the sock, the downer the fool. You gotta know it. Hey, you know what? I learned that recently, right?
Yeah, I already got the shirt too.
Man, oh, he goes. You traded up. I look at everybody's socks now, okay? Because if I'm looking at the socks and they too low, I'm like, okay, he's one of those dudes. Now, how was that moment for you? Because you guys actually went viral. You know what I'm saying? Now, how was that whole moment for you, and how much did you appreciate that?
Yo, it was crazy. So the fact that we got the fight with Samson, me and Chris here and there would just talk about stuff. At first, it was just kind of like, all right, what artists we getting? Yeah. Who's going out with us? So the thing was, my fight was July 30th. Yeah. At first. Yeah. That was in San Francisco. Yeah. So it was just like we're just thinking of artists out there, based out there. And it was like, all right, cool. We start, you know, chopping it up a little bit. Yeah. And then maybe like 2-3 days after talking, then they canceled my fight.
Oh man, yeah.
And they're all like, we still want you to fight. Yeah. Move it. We're gonna move it. That whole event got canceled. Yeah. So we're all like, we're gonna move it to a week sooner, which is July 23rd, but in Nebraska.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So we're still chopping it up here and there. And then another day goes by and shit. And then Chris comes out with, man, I've been thinking, like, what do we get Little Mr. E? And I was just stood there like, yeah, man, that'll be dope as fuck. Like, that'll be crazy. Yeah. And he got a big following, so it's like, I don't know, just come out with the Fools Gone Wild shit, that'll be crazy.
Yeah, for real. That's all.
But I told him, I was like, get Little Mr. E, but I was like, you gotta give me them socks though.
Yeah, yeah. He had to have the socks up high,
like,
yeah.
For us, his eyes just lit up like, yo, that's perfect.
Yeah, for real.
And me and him like that old school look too. You know, the higher shorts, long socks. We like that old school look. And so the socks were perfect. Socks were perfect. And in the end, that fight got canceled too. And so then they called me and they were like, can you fight next week? So I was like, damn. It's like, all right, we'll do it. We're ready. And so Chris was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go see if I can get a pack of the clothes for you. So I was like, all right, let's go. Comes back, gets a pack of clothes, got the socks. Cool.
Got to have the socks.
Yeah, I was like, got the socks. One for weigh-ins, one for the fight. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. And other than that, we didn't think of like just nothing else, you know, just cool, got the pack of clothes. We couldn't come out with Little Mr. E, all good. And then the fight happened. The photo happened. Yeah. next thing you know, fucking Foods Gone Wild posted. That shit went crazy.
Man, yeah, really did it like that.
Yeah, so it's just like the damn socks, bro.
The socks, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune in to Foods Gone Wild, man. This is a real big movement going on.
Yeah.
Now,
but shout out Foods Gone Wild. Yeah. I appreciate y'all for shout out Chris Munoz. They did it. It was crazy. My following went up like 3,000. It was crazy.
Man, you got 3,000 followers. Come on, I'm waiting on mine. Where y'all at, man? Come follow me. I'm just playing. But that's a beautiful thing. Now I gotta ask you, what are some of the things that you clap it up for yourself when you think about everything you've been through? Where you going? Because you're going further and further and further. You ain't reached the pinnacle yet. What's some of the stuff that you clap it up for?
Man, the main thing is that I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm still here. Clap it up for my parents because they're the ones that kept me in check, that kept me grinding. Because without them, I don't think I would probably have other people to talk me into things, but you know, they're the ones that are here, they're the ones that are at home, so they always kept me focused. And for my team, clap it up for my team, because without them, I probably wouldn't have a lot of the people like Foods Gone Wild, like Cypress Moreno, Chris Munoz, man, the whole Media Coast. Clap it up for them because they've done a lot for me. Everybody at the gym, you know, you have that whole support. And it goes deep into like the people that really helped you out. You know, sometimes you don't realize the little things that they do are major things in life.
Facts, yeah.
So clap it up to everybody that helped me throughout the way. For sure.
That's it right there, y'all. We clap it up to that. And look, man, y'all make sure y'all tune in to my boy Pablo the Shark Rubio. Google him because he's all over Google. You can YouTube him. You can see some highlights. You can see a couple of punches. And you can see that aggressive style that he always talks about, that he loves to do. Follow him on Instagram, Pablo the Shark Rubio. But y'all make sure y'all like, I was about to say subscribe. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, follow, do all that good stuff. Let's continue to get this story out, y'all. Once again, this is your boy J.Brock. It's Clap It Up LA right here with my boy Pablo the Shark Rubio. And y'all, that's a wrap. We out.